Yeah, how's it going, guys? It's Richie Unicorn Call here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are back with the, I guess, community discussion, which I'm sure you guys are at this point used to the community discussion, but if you're not or new to the channel, we do these occasionally on the channel, basically discussing Wizard101 and just have a good old conversation about it. In which case, we're going to start off with the dependency of players and the devs. I've been meaning to talk about this during the whole spring update dilemma because, as we know, that was so bad to the point where they even had to cancel a KI Live. The Portal Apparel is now back on the drying rack, and that's probably not going to come out for a very long time, and considering some other bugs and miscellaneous stuff, including spellments. The whole Scion spellments thing has been an issue for a lot of players, especially for me. I don't even have enough spellments to even get like path B of any of the Scion spellments, just because I haven't grinded enough of the boss rematches. But yeah, there are a lot of bugs and a lot of glitches. And it first starts off with Discord. Of course, you go on Discord and you can report a bug that way. But it was also mentioned by many people, not just like one person, like many people do think that it would be pretty interesting to see a in-game bug reporting tool in the live realm instead of test realm. Because as we know, test realm doesn't always get everything right, as we know. And considering that we are approaching the summer update, I would imagine probably maybe soon or maybe in a couple of months. And that one's going to be a bigger update than this. I mean, this update just had magic weaving and a whole bunch of other stuff. But this is talking about a whole raid. And that's content that 12 players could fit in. And typically, raids are not the best on day one. Obviously, there's going to be a few nuts and bolts here and there. But I think it's really important to kind of like sit down and evaluate what the players can, help out the devs, and how the devs can help out the players, and how they both can help each other out. And I'll show you the Discord. Personally, for me, I think that the Discord is super messy in terms of bug reporting, and just in general, it's really kind of weird to siphon through information. Some of these things are, I think, a little bit nitpicky, and I think don't really require like the most attention to detail. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all in the community, like most of the stuff is not going to be like fixed with a snap of a finger. And I think a lot of people have to realize that the devs are human too. They're not going to be able to fix everything. And we also talked about the priority of some of the bugs that should be prioritized, including the Chrysalis quest blocker, which thankfully the Chrysalis quest blocker has been fixed. I'm actually going to turn on my light right now. I know it's super dark in here. But that quest blocker has been fixed, and that definitely took priority, right? But some of this other stuff, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't know. Some of this stuff is either nitpicky to me or there's something I don't really care about. Loading screens are very long, plus game freezing at loading screen. That could be labeled. Actually, no, that's just a general issue. Like, ever since they released, like, Wallaroo, the game has just, like, sucked. Like, loading times are super duper sluggish, especially if you're on a slow machine. Yeah, I think that's like anything. Game freezes when you sell more cantrips, bizarre. Bugged quest, scaredy cat, explosion, nat sound effects, wrong location, bugged PvP robe, cantrip menu keybind not functioning, post update. Many dot spells do not show the damage values for their place over time. Yeah, dude, I can go on and on with this. It's a lot to kind of siphon through. And like I said, some of this stuff you could probably ignore and get away with, like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's a lot, man. It is a lot. I think one of the things, though, would have to be the Scion spellments They just randomly, I guess, reset back to like tier 2, or people are losing spellments over it. There's actually some weird way to actually get this to work. You actually have to like go into the dorm, upgrade your Scion spellments, then like reset it, exit out of the dorm, and then apparently like you get your spellments back. Like I don't know much of the details about it, but I just know that it's a mess. But going back on track to everything else, let's talk about the dependency on both the devs and, of course, the community. Well, you had a community, including myself, that's willing to not only post about these bugs, but also just make videos about it. I make videos a ton of times about test realm, and usually test realm is just a mess either way. But I write down a list of stuff, be like, hey, like this is bugged. Like the friends list thing was bugged on test realm, so not that many people could play with each other on test realm. I think that was like a big bug. But most of the bugs that I usually make videos about, that's already getting posted on Discord, right? And it comes to this thing where if the players are reporting these bugs, and especially during test realm, right? Through the in-game reporting, through test realm, which is only available in test realm, right? The in-game reporting, right? That little button that has a little bug icon, only available for test realm, right? So you have bug reports coming from there. You have bug reports coming from specific discords as well. And of course, I'm sure you see plenty of people also talking about it in the main chat, right? You have a good resource, right? And typically, we say this a lot. I really don't think they actually have a QA department. I don't think they have it. I think it's just all on the devs. I mean, prove me wrong. Maybe they do, but right now they don't do a excellent job at keeping the game, I guess, fresh and polished as it should be. But lately, it's starting to feel like every single hotfix, every single maintenance, every single thing that we get in this game, it just messes up. Like I don't know how. Like it feels like the butterfly effect, as they said. Just one thing keeps affecting the other. It's really weird. But back on track, like I said, you have players that are going to be reporting bugs. When those bugs do not get fixed, or especially when the blame is put on the players, which I'm sure that's not what they meant, but when there's a little bit of back talk with that, you're going to start losing the support of people reporting in bugs, especially for stuff like exploits. Dude, I've been saying it for the longest time, but in Beast Moon, I don't know if they still have this glitch or not. I mean, they probably still do. But there is this weird, bizarre glitch where if you keep going in through the speed portal, you know, like if you just keep going in and out of the speed portal, for some reason it will like make your polymorph character like super boost through the entire arena for some odd specific reason. And I've said it before, just like disable the speed boost from those gates because you really don't need them. I don't know if they still have that. They probably still do. And it's just like, yeah, that's something that you don't need. And that might be harder to fix. That might not take a hot fix or two. That might require a whole overhaul of the systems. I don't know. I'm not a game designer or a game dev whatsoever. But it comes to a point when bugs like that don't get patched or they just linger around in the game so long, a lot of people aren't going to willing to report any more bugs, as we discussed in that spring update, because that spring test realm was really messy. It really was. And the fact how some of that kind of came in the live realm kind of made a lot of the players kind of lose a lot of faith in the developers. And that's probably more of the reasons why a lot of people don't report bugs anymore. Because what's the point of reporting a bug if it's not going to be fixed day one? And probably most of this stuff, like I said, most of this stuff is not going to get fixed day one. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and some of this stuff is old. Some of this stuff might have already been fixed, but you can go in Discord yourself, and you can look. It is endless. Literally endless. Yeah, some of the stuff is saying it's fixed. So I would imagine that most of these are probably fixed, like 300 days or 30, no, nothing, 30 days ago. This, that, everything. Something about Walrusburg Armory Floor One Glow Bug Squall. Like I don't, dude. I'm not a game dev. I don't know what none of this stuff is. Like I said, most of the stuff down here is most likely fixed or it's been resolved. But yeah, not everything is going to be fixed. I think at the end of the day, though, I think that the devs in the community are going to have to work very hard or harder together just so we can kind of avoid another spring fiasco, right? And that's the only thing we can hope for, honestly, you know? But like I said, once one side decides to, like, backlash on the players or the devs, then you kind of lose that connect. Like, for example, blaming the players for not reporting an exploit, which we did in test realm and for many months, blah, blah, blah. I don't, dude, that whole story gave me a headache. You can go on Discord and investigate yourself, but that was a whole headache. But when you do that, again, that's kind of like a negative effect for the players, right? And I'm sure they didn't mean it. Of course, they didn't mean it. But at the same time, it gets kind of annoying when it's constant and it's repeating over and over and over and over and over again. Like going to McDonald's, like you go to McDonald's, right? And you ask for just the most simple order. You ask for like a large fry. I would know because we go to McDonald's every day to feed the kids. You ask for a large fry, they give you the wrong order. So you come back the next day and they still give you the wrong order. So then you come back the next day and you hope that you can just get your large fries. And guess what? They almost got your order right, except they gave you a small fry. So now you gotta go back into McDonald's and ask for a large fry because on the receipt it said a large fry. And you paid for a large fry, but you got a small fry, right? Like, that gets annoying. In Wizard101, when we have these updates and it's constant bugs and glitches repeatedly, it gets to the point where it does become obnoxious. It does become annoying. And quite honestly, it does become quite the inconvenience. And then everybody wonders, well, why don't you renew your membership anymore, Richard? Well, that's why. The game literally can't maintain a functional state to the point where I'm actually comfortable in giving them a monthly service fee. Like a monthly subscription. Honestly, I don't even think that you even need to have a monthly subscription for Wizard101. I think you only need to play the game for maybe a month at most, just to play the new content. And that might depend on your own playstyle. You might have 50 accounts that you're leveling up to like level 170 or whatever. And at that point, I'm not judging you, man. It's your money. It's your time. Do whatever you gotta do. But at the end of the day, both the players and the devs, I think, are going to have to work together in the future just to make sure that they can help each other out, right? So we'll see what happens in the future, and we'll see what happens with this summer update. I'm honestly kind of scared for it. I know they're doing a new raid and all that stuff, which is fine. That's cool. And I used to go raiding all the time. You know, I used to actually care for raids, but I don't know. I'm a little fearful for, well, especially the raiders, you know. Remember, you have to craft the key. You have to farm the animus, or, yeah, farm the animus, get the Azoth, do that. I mean, I'm sure plenty of guilds, that's not really an issue, but I think the issue will become the functionality of the raid itself. And I'm not sure how many raiders or guilds are going to be able to try and find 12 players on test realm and then do it on test realm. We WizTubers used to do it. I used to do the WizTuber raids. The last one we did was the Azteca one. And Azteca is a very rough raid. I would have to say, like, post-launch, it's, like, really rough. It was really rough. Don't even get me started on the whole Azteca raid chest exploit. That was, I don't even know how, still to this day, though, I still don't know exactly how that came to be and how that happened. I think they banned the players for like a month, and, you know, they let them keep all the gear, obviously. But still, I'm still confused as to how exactly that happened. Fingers crossed and knock on wood, that does not happen again with this summer update. And fingers crossed and knock on wood that we don't have any egregious bugs and glitches or even exploits that happen for the future of the game. Because remember, on the latest KI Live, they did say that they're going to change the way how they approach some of these updates, because, you know, they did change the way that they work on the updates, you know, from years ago. So hopefully the new way that they're doing is a lot better. Because, like I said, in my opinion, I really don't think they have a QA team at all. I think it's just them, and that's pretty much it. And that's why you guys, the community, really come in clutch, right? Even with all of these bugs and glitches in Discord, just know that you are still making your voice heard, which is really good. And like I said, some of this stuff, I mean, you know, some of that stuff you can get rid of. Like, there's one glitch in particular, which I wouldn't even consider a glitch. I would just consider this, like, something to ignore. But if you go in your spell deck, you go to treasure cards, right? And then you go all the way to your cantrips. We'll just select all. And then you go all the way to your cantrip section. Where would my cantrips be? Right here. Obviously, you can put them in your treasure card deck, but nothing actually happens. You can't actually cast them in battle. You can only cast these outside of the sigil. And obviously, this isn't supposed to happen. Like, you're not supposed to put, like, cantrips in here and all that stuff. But once you close out a tab, it will actually just take itself out. So, I don't really consider that, like, a bug that needs to be, like, I think it's just, like, in general, just, like, yeah, don't do that. In a sense, but I know players are going to do that because players are very, very curious. And it's good to be curious, because if you're not curious, you won't find out bugs like these, right? So, again, we will wait to see what happens in the future of Wizard101. Like I said, I think the community and the developers are going to have to work together. But like I said, if the community is going to stop reporting the bugs, then the devs are going to have a hard time fixing those bugs. And if the devs are not fixing the bugs that players report, especially the more egregious ones, the more important ones, especially for long periods of time, then players aren't going to report the bugs. And vice versa. You see what I'm saying? Like, we all have to work together, right? This isn't like Activision, Blizzard, or Treyarch, or like I said, Treyarch, Activision, Call of Duty type numbers, or Overwatch, like World of Warcraft. Like, this is a very, it might seem like a big community, but I'm just gonna be honest, this is a really small community based video game. So that's why it's important that everybody kind of works together. And I'll do my best. I mean, I don't use their Discord. I honestly don't. I can't stand their Discord. I actually preferred the forums from back in the day. Obviously, they don't do the forums anymore. Times have changed. But I'll do my best to report any bugs I see on the YouTube videos. Make some funny videos about it. Just like that one robe that was missing its file assets, which I still don't know how that happened. But I'll do my best to try and report as many bugs and glitches as I see. At least some of the ones that I think deserve attention. Like, make me raise an eyebrow, like, huh, like, something seems off, you know? But until then, I guess I will see you guys later. Just a whole lot of yapping. Let me know what you guys think about the quality of this game. Do you think the quality is fine, or are you not experiencing any problems, or are you kind of frustrated with the state of the game right now? Until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Also, shout out to Alex Goldpants. He was the guy that we saw in the video, so shout out to him, man. Oh, man, that was fun. But yeah, like I said, we all need to work together in this game. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.